Hello, dear friends, this is Mr. Top F, and today we will have an unusual release that is out of the main theme of my channel. For me, this is an experiment and a desire to share my little discovery. Before we start, subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss new releases. I will also be grateful if you like this video and write in the comments your opinion about this video and the idea to make more similar content on my channel. Get ready for an exciting adventure. We begin. The first thing I want to start with is that everything that will be said in this video is my personal opinion about the book that I will introduce you to. You do not need to take my judgments on faith. Always double-check the information that you learn on the internet and decide for yourself whether to accept it or reject it. All my life I have been interested in questions about the universe, about God, about how the world works. As I get older, there are more and more questions and fewer answers. There were many teachings, stories, religions, and mutually exclusive facts around, and this gave rise to even more chaos in my head about everything that was happening. To understand this issue, I began to superficially study religion, namely what it teaches. Since I was brought up on the canons of Orthodox Christianity, I looked mainly in this direction, while paying attention to other teachings such as Buddhism and Islam, as well as other currents of Christianity such as Catholicism and Protestantism. And if we talk about Christianity and the Bible, I have always been given a lot of, as it seemed to me, inconsistencies and things that are not very logical. For example, in the story of Adam and Eve, if God did not want anyone to taste an apple, why did he make it possible to do so? If the answer is, he gave them the right to choose, then why are you rewarded for one choice and punished for another? What kind of choice it is then? To be more precise, this is a de jure choice, but not a de facto one. The so-called choice without choice. And as these stories were studied, the questions became more and more. A few years ago, while reading books and taking courses in professional development, skills development, and self-development, I often began to hear stories and recommendations related to meditations, visualizations, and affirmations. Many of them referred to such a branch of science as quantum physics. Perhaps everyone has heard about the movie The Secret and authors such as John Kehoe and Joe Dispenza. This is exactly what I'm talking about. A little later, I began to be interested in those areas of science that study the structure of the universe, namely the very quantum physics. What does quantum physics tell us? A lot of things, but the most important thing that quantum physics has done is showed us that under the microscope, we are all and the whole world around us consists of energy. And in this context, all stories about meditations, affirmations, and visualizations began to acquire scientific justification, which added another brick to my picture of the world. A little later, I learned about such science as psychology and how much is hidden in it, which I could not even imagine before. As a result, I concluded that I had a huge amount of knowledge about the world, while they were all scattered, and it was incomprehensible how to put it all into one picture, in which everything would fit perfectly into one ideally working mechanism. In addition, I still have not received an answer to many questions. What is God? What is the universe? Who created the universe and who created God? How does the world work? Why do catastrophes, wars, famines, and other disasters occur if God exists and is good? What is the sense of life? Why can things be very bad for good people and very good for bad people? Is there an afterlife? These and many other questions visited not only me. And during my life, I wanted to find the answer to them in one way or another. I am a super hardworking, goal-oriented, disciplined, and persistent person. I work all the time, and the last couple of months have been especially labor-intensive, when I work 12 to 20 hours a day every day, while not forgetting to do daily meditations and play sports. And a few days ago, I realized that I was tired. I realized that strong internal tension and struggle do not bring me the desired results, but only drive me into the trap of workaholism without visible results. Work for the sake of work. I realized that it was time to change something, and I don't want to do it anymore. I realized that I want to live and work easily and with pleasure. The day after this realization, I was recommended a book called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. As I was told, the book is just about that transition from struggle to ease and pleasure, and about many other important things and aspects of being. I decided to get right down to business and turned on the audiobook. An hour later, my brain began to explode in a good way from the information that I received and continued to receive from this book. What is this book about? I would say that about everything, but let's go in order. The beginning for a simple layman may seem strange and cause a feeling of fear. What if this is some kind of sect? For me, it was quite easy to listen to the book, as I am a very open-minded person and do not have the habit of judging before I get the full picture of the proposed opinion. In the book, the author conducts a dialogue with God, who appeared to him and asks him the very questions that we have already talked about a little earlier, as well as a large number of other topical things that concern 99.9% of the population of our planet as much as possible. At this point, the question may immediately arise, is the author not crazy, and is it all fiction? I believe that everyone should decide and determine for themselves. My position and opinion on this point are that for me the most important thing is that it works for my benefit. If it works for me, then what difference does it make to me whether it's fiction or not? What hooked me so much in the book that I decided to make a separate author's video on this topic? There are several reasons. We started with the fact that many points on the issue of religion were incomprehensible to me, and I found many inconsistencies there, and inside this book is God or the author on behalf of God, depending on what point of view you hold on this issue, answers all questions, innuendos, inconsistencies, and concepts of God as such, his image and intentions. After I heard this, everything fell into place in my head and I received answers to absolutely all the questions that bothered me on this theme. Further, as I listened to the book and God answered the author's questions, I fully developed a picture of how science, God, and the universe interact, how it all works, and for what purpose it was created. Who is God and why does he allow everything that happens? I am a person of facts, and logic and facts are very important to me, especially in topics that relate to such high matters as the creation of the universe. And what struck me in this book, and plunged me into awe, is that everything very smoothly, clearly, and logically falls into place. Everything that I once heard about the world, about God, about how our consciousness and subconsciousness work, all this in my head began to take shape in a very beautiful symmetrical puzzle. That's not all. In addition to such global topics, of course, the author was also concerned about more pressing issues. By what laws does the modern world work? What are money, love, relationships, and family, and what laws do they work? What you need to do to become successful in all these areas? What is happiness and how to achieve it? All these questions are answered by God in this book, and it must be admitted that the answers are incredibly wise and ideal for the modern world, IMHO. So, for example, the topic of what a person aspires to and what he feels was touched upon. If you think about it, then all human feelings originate in one of two sources, in one of two sensations - feelings of fear or feelings of love. And at every moment of life, what we think, feel, or do, we do either out of fear or out of love. Someone will object, but what about anger and hatred or happiness and joy? The answer is that these are derivatives of fear or love, and if you think carefully, you will understand that this is so. Here's another cool idea for you. Why then is there fear? Why is fear needed, if one could just create love and that's it? And the answer was this: you can understand what love is only by understanding what it is not. Any definition must always be relative. The concept of satiety cannot exist without the concept of hunger and vice versa. You can remember yin and yang, as well as a quote attributed to Einstein that darkness is simply the absence of light. And immediately from this, the conclusion is that we would not know about the light if there were no darkness. Let's smoothly jump to the conclusions of this video. First of all, you need to understand that the book may seem controversial for many, and this is normal. My task was to share this with you because I was sincerely delighted with what I learned from there. Whether or not you read this book is your responsibility and the choice you make. It is also your sole responsibility to trust or not trust what is written there and whether or not to apply it. I shared my opinion, and I can say that after I started applying what I received from there, my life was transformed in a moment. It became much easier, more pleasant, and more interesting. And I am sure that this will very soon have a strong impact on my results in life. I think that in this video, I quite fully shared the reasons for at least getting acquainted with this book and for myself to learn one more point of view. And today that's all, my dear friends. Write in the comments if you liked this video, what you think about it, and whether would you like more releases in this format. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss new releases, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Mr. Top F was with you. See you soon. Bye.